Shalom. Ever felt like you're in a pit waiting to be rescued, or you're in jail waiting to be rescued? Well, imagine Joseph had both those experiences in the portion Vayeshev. He ends up in a pit, tossed there by his brothers, and he then ends up in jail after a false accusation, despairing, but he never despairs. In fact, why doesn't he despair? Well, sitting behind me on the wall in our synagogue are the words which come from the last line of the book of 23rd Psalm. I want to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Shavti b'veit Adonai la'arach yamim. And the root of the word Shavti is the same as the name of this week's portion, Vayeshev. Now, Vayeshev can mean many things, usually translated as he settled. Did he just settle down after, this is Jacob now, after a wild youth? Did he settle for less than he could have been? Did he settle for mediocrity? Did he settle in not growing more? And certainly in the way we understand Joseph's ability to survive the pit and the jail, the word comes to have great meaning. Because what sustained Joseph through those experiences was his always feeling that God was before him. When he resisted Potiphar's wife's attempt to seduce him, he said, "How can I sin against God?" In fact, the Talmud said he saw an image of his father there after he anguished about it. We know he anguished because of the trup marker, the musical note above the word Vayima'ain, which is one of only 4 times it occurs in the whole Torah, a very long, deliberate statement of trup melody, quivering about what he should do. And he finally said, "No, I can't do this sin." But he always felt secure in the house of the Lord. And whenever we're in a pit and whenever we're in a sense of feeling like we're in jail, where we have no figuring of how to escape and how to climb out of the problem, we have to understand that it's dwelling in the house of the Lord. In fact, one of the comments on the opening word of the Parsha Vayeshev was that it says that God was with Jacob and he was a wealthy man. Well, sometimes when people are wealthy, they figure they don't need God, or they figure that God's blessed them, but when they have hard times, they turn away from God and blame God. But of course, you need God in both circumstances. When you're feeling successful, you need God to understand as the center of your life that you are gifted by God, that you owe God, that you have to be grateful to God, and to keep you sincere and humble. And on the other hand, when you're in despair, the source that will always be with you to sustain you is dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. And so the word Vayeshev, to settle for Jacob, turns into Joseph's life as a critical idea of dwelling in the house of the Lord forever and having God sustain him both through the pit and through the jail until he emerges in the next week's portions as the number 2 most powerful man in all the world, the number 2 to Pharaoh in Egypt.